Hi, everybody. Chris Boston here from Tresco, and wanted to follow up with everybody on a update on COVID-19. Uh, to start out, the good news is is that to date, today is the 27th of April. At this point, we have 0 cases of positive COVID-19 diagnoses. So great job. We've been doing our best with social distancing, staying home, and washing our hands, keeping our residences and locations as clean as possible. And so I want to thank everybody for your efforts with that first and foremost. It's not been easy for anybody, but we recognize, particularly for all of you out in the field, um, imagine there's some cabin fever going on. And so, first, I want to acknowledge that and tell you how much I appreciate the work that you've been doing. It's hard, I get it, but we're getting to the end. I think with the governor's extension of just 2 weeks this time to May 15th for the stay-at-home order, my hope is that we're getting to the end, and that because we have done such a good job, particularly here in southern New Mexico versus the metro area. We have really been able to limit the spread of the disease. So great job. But I wanted to touch base. There's been some questions that have come to me regarding our work environments and whether Tresco has a hazard pay program for the COVID-19 crisis pandemic that we find ourselves in. So the short answer to that question is no. We do not have hazard pay for COVID-19, and the reason is that we don't have any cases at this point. We don't have any hazardous environments beyond what you already deal with on a day-to-day basis. We deal with people who have respiratory illnesses that are not COVID-19. We have people who we deal with that have issues with behavior, biting, hitting, spitting, things along those lines. It is part of the job. And while we don't ever take for granted what all of you do out in the field, because let's face it, it's all of you in the field that makes this program go, makes the mission happen. But at this particular juncture, we are not offering hazard pay for the work that's performed. When and if we have a situation where we have a positive for COVID-19, we will then revisit the issue of hazard pay and do that in the form of a differential. And that would be substantial so that we would be able to continue providing services to the people that we support. But as a preventative or in an environment where we're just like the pandemic, to pay a hazard rate without having actually COVID-19 present in the residences, we're not in a position to do that. However, with that said, we do recognize and hear what our partners out in the field have been telling us, and so we are going to be undertaking some additional steps for sanitizing residences in particular, and helping out that way to help minimize the chances of having COVID-19 virus in a house. We need to continue to follow universal precautions: hand wash, hand wash, hand wash, use the hand sanitizer, wear the masks, and socially distance ourselves as much as possible. And obviously, some of our team members, you have to be in someone's personal space to provide services. You need to make sure that they are masked and that you are masked. One other question that has come up is about PPE. And so we have been able to procure homemade face masks for all of our employees. We're getting more in all the time. I want you all to know, though, is that there's been discussion about PPE like gowns, goggles, face shields, and N95 masks. We have just now been able to locate a small supply of N95 masks, and they are en route to us. We're hoping to see those by the end of this week, but they are a small amount that is intended to be used in our most high-risk environments, or God forbid that we have a positive case of COVID-19. It is not a day-to-day sort of use. And I think all of you can appreciate and understand that the vast majority of the supply of PPE, particularly when it comes to PPE to protect against COVID-19, is going to first responders, to hospitals, to testing facilities. And it is impossible for us to procure those. We have attempted on probably 25 to 30 times trying to procure those items. If you know of where we could get those items and that there is availability, you call me directly and we will purchase those and deploy those out into the field. It isn't that we don't want you to have the PPE. We are providing you with what we have access to. And as soon as we have access to more, we will be deploying it out into the field. And I know for some that can be a scary thought, and I appreciate that. But we also have to take in mind that if we take the proper precautions and that we follow universal precautions, wear our masks, socially distance ourselves, we will be able to get through this, and we shouldn't have any spread. That's should. And so we have to follow it to make it happen. So please work with us on that. The other thing is that if at your site, particularly in our residential program, if you're not comfortable with going to Walmart shopping or going to a grocery store getting supplies, you have resources available to you through your supervisor, service coordinators, and your department management. Let us know. If you don't want to go to Walmart to buy groceries, get us the list. We will get out there and we will provide those groceries and bring them to the house for you. There are all sorts of alternatives, but the bottom line, folks, is that we have to talk to each other. And so please communicate with your supervisor and follow the chain of command, and we will do our very best to provide what we can for you. So let's just make that very, very clear. And we are trying as best as you are trying and everybody else is trying. And that can create a lot of stress and anxiety. And so I want to close with a reminder. Many of us have been dealing with this situation that has, it's cliche now, but it is unprecedented. None of us saw this coming. We prepare on paper for pandemics, but nothing prepared us for this pandemic and for this intense pandemic. And so please be patient with us, but also identify with yourself if you are having a hard time coping with what you constantly hear on the radio, on the internet, on the news. If you're having stressors at home because of being confined to your home, not having the outlets for recreation, for just basically getting your energy out, or with your family, with your kids, we do have opportunity for you through our employee assistance program. It is a free confidential service that you have available to you. We have absolutely nothing to do with the services that are rendered. We pay for the subscription to the service, and it can help you with not only emotional issues, but financial issues. It can help you with areas of stress with kids, with work, or just your fear of COVID-19. And let me make it perfectly clear. If you have fear that you're going to contract COVID-19, it's okay to have that fear. But we also have to remember that we signed on for a job to do here, and our participants rely on us. And we, working together, will get through this. And so let us know, take advantage of the EAP. If we do have a positive COVID-19 case, we will be taking action to make sure that employees who work in those environments are protected, but not only protected from the virus itself, but also compensated. We will do that if the situation warrants additional pay, and you have my word that that will happen. And so in closing, I just want to again thank you for what you do. It is a tough time, folks, and understand, follow your chain of command, talk to your supervisor, tell us what your needs are, what your fears are, and we'll work with you. If you need special arrangements with your work schedule, talk to your supervisor. And we're doing our very best to get through this together. So with that, please stay safe. I hope this video is finding you well and is informative, and we wish you the best. Thank you, Tresco. We love you all, and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.